Going into EBM, it kind of gave me a new perspective on what research is, how it fits into medicine, how it can be used to gain further knowledge. So that was one thing I really took out of EBM, and ever since then, I've been fascinated by research. I'll sit in my classes and I'll think of, oh, I wonder how that could be fixed, or how we could improve this method, so on and so forth. And EBM really kind of gave me the tools to look at things that way. Along with that, I think the biggest thing that I got out of EBM was the self-directed learning. EBM is taught in a self-directed learning way, so you have the learning objectives and then you have the articles ahead of time. And reading through that and having to read new material that you previously hadn't read about, maybe you had an idea of some of the topics on a broad level, but really getting into it and trying to focus on the important aspects of each article and each subject by yourself before being taught anything by a professor in the typical lecture-based classroom. So getting the experience with that and having to be a self-sufficient learner really helped me in not only EBM, but all my other classes as well, because with medicine, there's so much to learn, and there's just not enough time in the day for a professor to go through it with you, every nitty-gritty detail. So being able to look at a textbook or go into any other research article, find my own articles and go into it and look through it myself on my own, and then complement that with the lectures has really helped me in all my other classes substantially. And I think those are the two biggest things that I've gotten out of EBM.
So for me, EBM basically gave me two basic, good, absolutely brilliant things I can use in my education right now, and also to think as a future physician. So first of all, EBM helped me use something that I never utilized before. It was something that the learning objectives were used to. Because I just keep reading. I think that's what everyone does. We just read the entire content, try getting as much as out of it, and I don't know, we just try and mug up or remember it, that's it. But learning objectives was the best thing out of it, because you know what to answer, you know what exactly the question is going to come from the section there. So you're going to write the answer there, you can know the answer. But one more thing I found interesting about learning objective is that when you understand the concept, no matter how you frame it, as long as the concept is right and it's in any structure, it will give you a right answer. No matter how different people say there will be different points. You might not get everything, but that's the thing about EBM, because you're sitting in a circle, the same question, and you're trying to explain, or you're going to share your views of what you understand of the concept. So if you did not understand something, someone else might say probably something that you missed. You can understand why. You can ask him, why is that concept like that? So it's more of an interaction. That's how you learn. Because as physicians, every day there's something new coming in. So we can't just rely on textbooks. We need to learn how to extract information from the outside source and keep ourselves up to date. And basically, peer-based learning and working as a team is the second part, because individually you can call yourself a physician, but to treat like a disease or something, maybe not just your effort. You need a group effort. You need a teamwork. That's the whole point of being in a medical system. It's always a teamwork, and you need to get in that system. So coming back to the same point as my colleagues here mentioned, that there's only so much that the professors here, the textbooks can make you learn, but medicine works on 3 to 2 questions, 2 to 3 I said. It's going to be how and why. So why and how that disease or whatever caused it, and how can we get it out, or how can we treat it. So the textbook might say this is that, but not apply for every person, because every person works differently. Their body works differently. That you will learn on the future courses. So if you're going to be stuck on just reading or just reading the textbook, remembering the textbook, you'll be only limited to that. That was written 20 years ago, 50 years ago, only mentioned. Because these textbooks might be outdated, but we still need to use them as a foundation. So you need to have the curiosity and the motivation to read ahead, or to read or ask yourself the question, why is it like that? Or how can it be like that? Then only you can actually proceed your career as a physician.
Honestly, EBM truly helped me understand that when you're in medical school, you're not really competing competing with everybody around you. I mean, yes, medical school is competitive, scores do matter. Absolutely, don't get that wrong. But the people around you, you can learn from them as much as they can learn from you. Being able to sit around in a circle with your friends and sort of just ignore the fact that there's a teacher in the room, and be able to have a conversation that absolutely does not involve them at all, really helped me a lot. Helped me, one, help me talk to people that I don't know. Because in my first semester, I had half of my class ended up being brand new people that I had never met before. Number two, I mean, it helped me understand other people's perspectives and understand that it's not just mine that matters, it's everybody else. Because I would miss something, and then immediately they would go in and they would tell me, oh, what about this? Why do you think of that? Why do you think of this? And I would either be able to explain why I didn't, or I could have, and then I just went away from that point, or I just could have completely missed it altogether. I mean, EBM really helps me understand that. And then also, of course, EBM does make you think a lot. It does make you understand that you're not going to read an article and understand every word in the article. You're not going to understand where it came from, because these people did research for years. They did, studies. They've got published articles. They've got multiple published articles. They're very, very intelligent people. And you're just at the start of medical school. You're in your first semester. You don't want to assume that you're going to know everything they're talking about. But however, you're perfectly able by yourself to go and look up what they're talking about, to understand where they're coming from. And you're not going to be fluent in it by the time you get back. But you will be able to speak intelligently about it and be able to understand what you're talking about, which helps a lot. Those are the two main things that I was able to take away.